Pizza Jaffa's orange grows. Microchips is us. iPhone cameras us. Taco salads us. Vamos us. Olive Garden us. White cloth for us. Sabra Hamas. Hezbollah us.
Wagwan, Bati Boy, and welcome to Bad Hasbara.
The world's most Irie podcast.
That's right.
I guess I'm joining you in the patois.
yeah, that's right.
I was gonna do Italian because I'm heading to Italy soon, but you know the patois.
Yeah,
Ross Matt
over here. Oh yeah, that
big Tingaguan.
Yes, I welcome you to this wonderful show. My name is Matt Lieb. I will be world's most moral co-host
of Bati Hasbara. Daniel Mate. Matt, you're such a rude boy.
I'm quite a rude boy. So happy for all of you.
And I'm a crazy balding head.
That's right. Yeah. Not quite a bald head yet, but you know, one day it shall happen. It shall happen to all of us, to the best of us. I am so excited for today's wonderful show. We have great content for everyone. And I know saying that excitedly is weird given the nature of what the show is, but I am very stoked on it. So,
and when we say for everyone, we mean everyone who pays.
That's right. For all of you pay pigs out there, for the ones who really want to get the exquisite premiere slop. I mean, this is not just some free shit that we are just shoveling into your wide gullets as we do every Thursday on the Bad Hasbara YouTube channel and RSS feed. No, this is the fucking premiere shit. This is the
shit that the sommelier told you they only have a few cases of.
That's right.
You know,
that's right. It's in the back.
For you.
It's in the back. It's been steadily chilling in a bucket.
They keep it cool in the gutter.
That's right.
I was going to say the cellar, but it's actually
it's a gutter. It's slop.
It's a wine gutter. Yeah.
We know what we're dealing with here. It's all slop at the end. Please give us 5 stars and review on all the things. And please shout out to producer Adam Levin. We love our big, wonderful boy.
I would give him a literal shout out, but he would get mad at me for shouting into my microphone. So.
That's right. He would yell at you about that. So don't do that, but we're just going to shout, hey. Also, today's sponsor is Mercy Corps. For more than 3 decades, Mercy Corps has worked in the West Bank and Gaza, meeting critical humanitarian needs. Their programs have supported Palestinian communities by helping communities cope with crises, supporting marginalized and vulnerable youth, and increasing economic opportunities. If you have any money, please give it to Mercy Corps. That's MERCYCORPS.org. So do it.
Yeah. And one other thing maybe to plug, and I don't have a link on hand, but maybe we can put it in the description.
I'm sure we could.
Someone, actually Ronnie Barkon got in touch with me, who I would love to have on the show sometime.
Yeah.
And he mentioned the Vienna anti-Zionist conference that's happening soon. And he said, I was hoping you'd mention it on your episode with Stephen Kaposh. And I said, oh shit. Well, we talked about it off air with him.
Yeah,
we didn't actually say it on the episode. So I think that's something for people to know about if you're in Europe or going to be in Europe. Yeah.
When is that happening?
I don't know, but sometime this month, sometime in June, mid-June, I think.
You know who does know? The description at the bottom. The description at the bottom knows exactly when it's going to happen.
That's right.
They'll be linked to it.
That's right. And as Billy Joel said, Vienna waits for you. And as Falco of Rock Me Amadeus fame said, Vienna calling. Whoa. Those are the 2 songs with Vienna in the title that I know. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was going to, I'm surprised there's 2 because
I had one of my actual anti-Semitism alert experiences of my adult life in Vienna. So maybe you could,
that makes sense.
Vienna start the podcast anytime soon. Maybe.
Shut up.
Maybe.
Maybe shut up. Well, it has started, Adam. People like the banter at the beginning, I think. Although I
do.
did see a comment that was like, I always skip the beginning. And it's just like, well, good
Cool.
for you, idiot. That's what I said.
There was a lot of beard discourse in the comments.
Oh my God. We'll get to that.
Yeah. But anyway, I was in Vienna a couple of years ago, and it was near the tail end of COVID, and I'm always just assuming back then that, it's finally over. But for some people, it was never over. And I was riding the train. I was trying to go get some Wiener Schnitzel, which for me was the only reason to be in that city, which I didn't like much.
You didn't like the city or the Wiener?
I didn't like the Wiener Schnitzel was good once I finally found some. It just felt stuffy and imperial. That city, like like a city that couldn't quite figure out what to do after its imperial phase.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm on the train and I get out in like downtown Vienna, and I'm walking through the station to exit, and I am approached by a uniformed guard who starts screaming at me in Austerlitz German.
Oh, shit.
Something I don't
Scheiße.
I say something, and I say I don't speak German, and then he, in a very thick Austrian accent, says, "Masks are mandatory in the metro. Where is your mask?" And I'm like, "I don't have one." "Well, you will be fined if you." And I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like I've never had ancestral memory wake up in me, or epigenetic memory, but I'm like, I'm being screamed at for not displaying the right cloth.
Yeah. We will give you a state-issued Star of David mask that you will wear around town to keep people protected from your disease-ridden body.
Actually, a Star of David mask would fit the nose and mouth pretty well.
No, it's kind of perfect. Oh, shit. Don't give them any ideas, all right? Listen, and of course, mask up. I agree with the Viennese cop, but don't do it in German. That's what I say. You say
N48
mask. Wow. But yeah, it is. That's a wild thing to be yelled at in like specifically in Austrian German. Because it's like, I mean Hitler. You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. No, of course I did.
Oh, yeah, you did. You already know. Daniel, what's the spin?
Spin today, just in honor of our impending guest, who I'm sure is still backstage and hasn't logged off in boredom or frustration.
Yeah,
because he loves us. I've got some of my favorite Michaels here.
Oh.
So first of all, fuck all the haters.
Michael Jackson
off the wall.
I mean, like, listen, personal life aside, the music very good.
That's exactly right.
What can you
Michael McDonald.
Oh, hell yeah. Now you're speaking my language.
Whoever I bought this from had, filed it under McD.
Yeah, Mickey D's. Yeah, he does look like he enjoys a Mickey D. I love like
it's too bad he didn't. Did you guys have the McDLT ever in America?
No, but I had only heard of it. The McDLT. It was
with it was a hamburger with lettuce and tomato.
Right, exactly. Yeah, forgotten
towards
classic.
the end of the 80s. Anyway.
Yeah.
George Michael.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's good too.
He's great.
Yeah.
Just a great pop star.
Yeah.
Michael D. Render, Killer Mike, with his album Michael.
Yes. Shout out to Killer Mike. Come on the podcast. I know people give you shit for being a landlord, but this is not bad landlord Hasbara. This is bad Hasbara.
Let's start with LP, okay? You already had him on.
I know. We got to get LP on.
And finally, the Weavers, the classic Pete Seeger fronted folk group, have a song called "Michael Rowed the Boat Ashore," which is like an old spiritual and whatever. And it's like the first Michael song I remember.
The Uyghurs, huh?
Not the Uyghurs.
Are the Uyghurs in? Did they record it in one of the China camps?
The Uyghurs.
The Uyghurs.
No. It's the Weavers, man.
Oh, my bad. That's my bad.
Those who weave.
Those who weave.
And shout out to listener Dirk.
Yes, listener Dirk.
Who we're outing you, Dirk, as the keeper of the What's the Spin podcast playlist, on Spotify, which a lot of people have been asking about it. I love it. Basically, I get to listen to my entire LP collection on shuffle when I'm away from home.
That's right.
Good for long flights and commutes and anything you want to tune out. And there'll be a link in the episode description. And Dirk, thank you so much also for taking our request and removing the silly comedy albums.
The comedy albums and the weird skits.
Yeah.
I assume maybe he didn't remove the skits, but
I
for
don't
sure
think
the
so.
comedy albums.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Yeah, shout out to Dirk. Shout out to any listener who does cool shit like that. That's completely not required and super appreciated.
No, it really contributes to the Bad Hasbara verse, you know?
I know. We're like, it's an expanding verse, you know, it's
a verse,
happening. You know, people are listening to this podcast.
But I'll tell you what verse it's not.
What?
Also in honor of our guest. It's not a meta verse.
That's right.
Because fuck the metaverse.
Fuck the metaverse. We are anti any kind of metaverse. It includes alternate universes. It also includes virtual reality universes with people with no legs who still can sexually harass other people with no legs. Yes, our guest today.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You never put on the fucking Oculus and walked around the metaverse?
No, I was just making a meta joke.
No, I know, but it's fun. You ever like walked around in it and you just
sexually harassed
I don't like
people?
No, I don't like doing. Well, no one has legs. I'm going to introduce our. It's little cartoon avatars. Meta start the podcast and shut up.
Yeah,
we're starting it. Okay. We have, ladies and gentlemen, we got a great guest. He is the co-host of the wonderful The Palestine Pod. It is a great podcast. He is a stand-up comedian, a Jewish anti-Zionist activist, and someone who has recently been disappeared on all of your social media platforms.
Where else are you going to get an interview with a recently disappeared person?
Yes, with a disappeared man. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, welcome back to the pod, Michael Schirtzer. What up, dog?
Hey, nice to be here on this Chet Hanks podcast. No, but thank you guys so much. I was actually only disappeared off of Instagram. I'm still on TikTok for the time being, still on YouTube. But, you know, when one starts, the others will crumble. So.
Yeah. First, they came for Michael on IG, and I said nothing because...
That's right. And a lot of people did say nothing. So,
yeah.
And you have a replacement account on IG. That's not the one showing in your screen name, right?
Oh, yeah, I should update that. All right, to my old account.
See?
That's what my old account was. But if you, how do I do that? Hold on.
How's that? Did I do it?
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm, already we're helping. And I feel good about that. This is
so
the
Michael,
way we do.
Michael, what the fuck happened? Where'd you go, buddy?
So my account went to live on a farm upstate. My account was
when will it come back?
My account was flagged by Jordana Cutler, the Israel and Jewish diaspora person at Meta, the former Israeli government official who worked directly for Netanyahu and also in the embassy in DC.
When you say Meta's Israel and Jewish diaspora, officer or whatever, you're not being, hyperbolic. This is her actual title.
You are being anti-Semitic, but you're also being factual.
Of course, you're being anti-Semitic.
Yes.
I hate when those two things. I hate when those two things line up, as
it's always a bummer.
Do so often these days.
It's always a bummer.
Yes. In her official capacity as the Israel and Jewish diaspora policy chief,
policy czar. I love it.
She is tasked with finding Jews in the diaspora that she can hunt down and disappear, take their accounts to a little digital El Salvadorian jail.
Sort of a Jew hunter, as it were.
Yes.
That's a title. Yeah, that's a title that I would ascribe to her. Yeah.
She's proud of that title because she's earned it.
That's right.
She's the Hans Landa of digital compliance.
That's right.
I mean, she's literally like a modern day Goebbels. Like,
Yeah.
she is a critical part of the Holocaust infrastructure, right? Because she monitors the content that people see, ergo influencing what people think. And so if people had been seeing melted children on their phones every single day from the very beginning, they would have had a lot harder of a time pulling off this whole genocide thing. But because they have people who are pulling the strings that are directly connected to the Israeli occupation, they have carte blanche to do whatever they want. And we've seen what's happened in the last 2 years.
Okay, but that makes sense. But what did Miss Cutlet find objectionable about your content, and why hasn't she found our content similarly objectionable?
Yeah,
I'm feeling kind of left out.
You know what, guys? I'm really sorry. Inshallah, it happens to you too one day.
Oh, we're hoping. We're hoping. God wills.
But I will say that there is, like, we're in an information war. Like, we are informational warriors, whether or not we want to call ourselves that. But like, that's what they are calling it. They're literally saying we're in an information war, and like that's why they say that American Jews need to do propaganda for the Israeli occupation. Right.
Yeah.
And so, there's like, I was cut down in the line of duty as an informational warrior, and I'm super honored to have sacrificed something for Palestine.
And
like,
not only were you cut down, though, but like what was interesting is before you were kicked off of Instagram, they at least did the very like Israeli nice thing of roof knocking you first. I
thought you were going to say roofieing him.
Yeah, they roofied you, so you didn't remember it. No, they roof knocked you. You know, they sent out leaflets warning you by her showing up in your viewed fucking story feed here, where you can look at all the people who like view your story, and you saw Jordana Cutler in there, and you were like, "Oh fuck!"
Do you know what's funniest about that to me?
Surgically striked by the IDF.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was definitely a leaflet drop when her own profile popped up in my story views. But do you know what's funniest about that to me? There were 221 people who saw that, and she was like, "Got to take him down."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I wasn't even the most famous person disappeared that day. There's like an Irish comedian, Tach, as well, who had his account taken down.
Tig.
Hold on.
Yeah,
we've gotten in enough trouble for mutilating his name on this podcast. It will be pronounced correctly.
I'm really sorry. Say it one more time.
It's Tadgaha.
It's Tadgaha. Okay. That's how we pronounce it.
Shout out to my Irish comrades. I love Ireland.
We love Ireland. We just don't know why you spell your names weird.
No, we're not going to say that. We're not going to.
I'm just kidding. We love Irish people.
Yeah. Free Patty Stein.
You can do it. Spell it a different way.
Okay, but anyways, like, there's no higher honor as a social media influencer than for the app to tell you that you have too much influence. Right?
Hell yeah.
Like I had a video that was going viral. It was a stand-up clip where Israelis got triggered by one of my jokes and they walked out of my comedy show.
Yeah.
And dude, the internet was abuzz with it. Like, it was going everywhere. And shout out to them because it actually got monetized on TikTok, and so it's made $700.
Oh, beautiful.
Which I will be sending directly to Gaza.
Oh, beautiful.
So shout out those people.
Hell yeah. No, I've seen that happen.
I think Israelis and comedy clubs at this point are not a good fit.
Yeah, I mean, when they left, I thought they were going to bomb the place, but it wasn't just women and children. So
right, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
there was probably already a fair amount of bombing going on inside, not with you on stage, but
no, like the set went well actually, and that's what's cool. Is like I hit the punchline as they were leaving, and like I looked at them in disdain, and it was great. It was, you know, if you guys can play the clip, I don't know, play it, but if not, just look for it. It's on my new Instagram.
Yeah, we can find the clip. I just have to go on Instagram and follow your new account, which
thank you so much.
Is right there. But yeah, you were at the setup, right?
Yeah, I was at the setup in Culver City.
That's right.
And so it's like right down the street from Sony. You get a lot of people who are like industry adjacent.
Yeah, it's West LA. This is where I grew up. So it's like, you know, whenever I do stand up in West LA, I always know that at some point I'm going to get either heckled or yelled at afterwards for that, for the one or two jokes that I do that are just directly yelling about how Israel is a genocidal apartheid state. We should all be ashamed of ourselves for not yelling that every single day. Then someone goes like, that's not right. And I'm just always like, suck a dick. But yeah, so you were, cut down by Miss Cutler. And this title is so wild to me because it's Meta's Israel and Jewish diaspora policy chief. The idea that they would accompany was like, we need a direct liaison with the state of Israel. Someone who can be our person who's in charge of what can and can't be said on a platform in service of another country is totally wild to me. It's like one of those things where you at some point go like, this feels like you're doing a stereotype as a bit. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you're like, we, in order to fight charges that Jews run the media, what we need to do is hire someone who works for the state of Israel to censor anyone who is saying that Jews run the media. It's like, you're making it worse, dog. And I have a video of her at the some event, the Jewish News Syndicate, which again,
what a name, dude!
I know. Why do they do this?
Why did they? That sounds like something people would accuse us of,
right?
You know what I mean? Like
we're doing a Jewish News Syndicate.
Was the URL for Jewish cabal taken? Like what the heck?
It's like, oh, they already fucked up the brand. Don't worry, we got. Yeah, I said this about also. There's a paper called the Jewish Chronicle. Don't chronicle. Stop chronicling Jews. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Chronic illness.
Yeah. So here is
the Jewish current events cartel.
Yeah, right. Here is this woman, Cutler, just speaking about her role at Meta.
These changes will allow us to focus more resources on combating illegal and high-severity violations like terrorism. These changes, which have begun in the U.S., will impact many of you, and I believe for the better.
Yeah. So, Mikey, have you considered that you've been impact for the better?
I think I have actually.
I think so too. We thank you, Cutler.
I was spending too much time on social media, and she was like, "You know what? Too much screen time for you."
That's right. You got a screen time alert, and you're
I think she's just a Palestine Pod fan, and she just wants you to have more time to focus on that.
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
When you spend too much time on social media, pushing, clips and stuff like that, it takes away from the content that you'd be making on the Palestine Pod.
I think Gazan Girl might have given her a call and been like, Michael's getting a little hard to track down.
Can you focus, Mikey? Shadow
It feels like she wants my comedy career to succeed because I was just starting to sell out shows. So.
Yeah, exactly.
My work leading the Israel public policy team, I created a new role specifically focused on the Jewish diaspora.
Yes, you did.
She created herself. It's a self-created role.
I love an entrepreneur, guys.
It is a privilege to represent Meta to Jewish communities worldwide. I am proud that Meta's commitment to addressing anti-Semitism on our platforms has remained steadfast, especially after October 7th.
Matt, you told me that the show Andor is worth watching, so I started watching it the first season the other day. Watched about 6 episodes. Really enjoying it.
Oh, it's so good.
Especially enjoyed it once they got off that scrap heap of a planet. Like
once they got off Ferrix?
Yeah.
Sure.
But
I wish this lady would end or. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's something there.
And or something else. But that there's a lot of imperial ambition, like young up and comers in the empire trying to make a name for themselves, and I just imagine one of them going to a superior and with this idea for the public policy director of Israel and Jewish diaspora, and and it getting approved.
Yeah, and, it's like I'd like to represent the diaspora of the planet Gorman, and by represent them, I mean steadfastly kick them out of the planet.
Jewish people and Israelis on our platforms. Our hateful conduct policy includes specific protections for Israelis and Jews.
For our hateful conduct policy includes specific allowances for Israelis and Jewish people.
They can be hateful. We're allowed to hate.
Rations of hate,
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, the Israeli occupation soldiers are having literally no trouble uploading their war crimes. The war crimes stay up on the platform. Meanwhile, my posts about mutual aid in Gaza, where people have been without food and water, are being flagged for violation.
Yes. In fact, she kind of gets into something else during this regarding what kind of content can and can't be seen. After October 7th, just to give context before she explains, they were quick to start removing posts that were showing videos of October 7th of, Israelis being killed or injured or captured. And, under the guise that like everyone is celebrating this. But then she has a change of heart on that. And she'll get into that in a second.
We changed industry thinking on this issue, designating denial as hate speech rather than misinformation. It wasn't just about facts. It was about protecting people from harmful conduct.
Not all kinds of
We banned
denial,
content
though.
with
Am I
harmful
right?
stereotypes about Jews, such as the claim that Jews run the world or other major institutions. We updated our policies to recognize that the term Zionist can be used as a proxy for Jews and Israelis.
Can be, huh?
I sure can.
Can we pause it?
Yes.
That is so wild, right? Because how do you go from genocide Joe, you don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist, to being like, actually, Meta interprets all use of the word Zionist as a proxy for Jews.
Right.
Like, is that not jarring for anyone else?
No, I mean, it's completely jarring. And it's also like, this is sort of become the standard go-to reason for why people are allowing censorship on their platforms, stopping any speaking about Zionism because, it's a dog whistle.
Besides which, it's mission accomplished for Zionism to have people equate Jews with Zionism.
That's your whole mission.
Right.
You won.
Yes.
And now you're going to
They're
that's
losing
why
the information war. They're losing. And that's why they had to disappear me, because like my very existence was a threat to their narrative.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
because
and also they know there's no other group from like Meta's point of view or country that gets their own like censorship regime at Meta.
Yeah,
Meta's own internal audit found that Facebook discriminates against Palestinians, it violates their rights, and coordinates directly with the Israeli government. In fact, Palestinians have been arrested for incitement after Meta handed over their data to the Israeli occupation government. Dude, she has so much blood on her hands, she probably doesn't even sign checks with a pen.
Yeah, she just does it with a bloody fingerprint.
I think she painted the background there with
right.
That's
it
right.
was originally blue. But like this idea that like Zionism and Zionist is like going to be painted completely as, this is a dog whistle for Jews. It is 100% just a tactic of reinforcing the conflation. Because if you were to then argue with someone like Jordana about like, no, we don't say that. In fact, there are many anti-Zionist Jews who point out the fact that Zionism and Judaism are not interchangeable. And as soon as
she
argue
knows about
that,
us. She knows about us because she's busy disappearing our
right,
accounts.
exactly. That's why she's disappearing you. But as soon as you argue that, the same people, just like Jordana, will say, well, as you know, 90% of Jews are Zionists. Like they always bring out some number of like the vast majority of
outdated.
Jews. Yeah, right. Outdated, and also like data that I feel like was skewed to begin with, because
of course
the idea that like someone's personal definition of Zionism is like, I have a connection to Israel, whether it's like a spiritual connection or a family connection, is like entirely bad faith reading of what it is to, at least in Jordana's opinion, be a Zionist. Because being a Zionist at this point means allowing for this kind of behavior, including genocide and also censorship.
I just can't get over her saying all this shit with the logo of an organization called the Jewish News Syndicator with a lion's head.
Yeah.
As the fuck. I mean,
It's
what
like a
is this
fucking.
shit?
It's
The
like,
lack of awareness is like Olympic level.
Yes, it is incredible. So she's going to continue
run
on.
the world or control the media. We do not allow for dehumanizing comparisons of Zionists.
Zionists.
It's
And
a
we will
delicate-
prove
So-
that.
so-
We will prove that Jewish Zionists don't control the media by disappearing any Jewish person who says different.
She just talked about Zionist as like this conflation, as a code word, as a dog whistle and whatnot. And now you're saying any dehumanizing things about Zionists specifically. So I'm like, wait a second. Do you mean Jews? Because at this point, I'm not sure if you're doing the conflating. I think you are.
Balance between safety and expression.
Also,
My role-
dehumanizing is as a word is just out of control.
It
Generally
means
speaking,
nothing. It
yeah.
means nothing now.
It means nothing. Hadar and I were talking about this the other day. But if we're going to be concerned about dehumanizing, like if it's a crime to dehumanize, then I want to know which side in this debate is more prone to phrases like human animals,
Yes.
nest of vipers, little cockroaches,
Yes.
etc. Like
Death
who
to all
reaches
Arabs?
for death to the air. Like who reaches for that? Now if I was to if I was to be drugged and just assemble a random and completely meaningless string of words like all Zionists are Nazi swine, maybe you could say that that's literally dehumanizing because I'm comparing them to animals, and I may be able to back up my claim or not. But I generally don't talk that way. I don't have to reach for those things. And even if I did, I think it's within the bounds of free speech.
I mean, and I'm sorry, but like this idea of it being uniquely anti-Semitic to do sort of like the hateful anthropomorphizing, let's say, what they're calling dehumanization, which doesn't just mean comparing to animal, but specifically, they're like, no, that is uniquely anti-Semitic, and they'll cite like, oh well, the Nazis called us rats and cockroaches, and I'll be like, here is 1,000 different AI videos you guys and images you have created.
Yeah, and here's a link to the Zionist or Nazi quiz.
Right, exactly. And they'll say like, well, okay, that's bad, but it's not. They literally will just be like, that's not as bad because the Jews had that happen to them, and it's worse if it happens to Jews. And to me,
So
that's the shit where I'm like, you guys have completely lost the plot.
At this same event, right? This literal same stage, literal same podium. There was a guy by the name of Norm Coleman, chairman of the Republican Jewish Coalition, who said, quote, Jews are the masters of the universe are Jews.
Yeah, I know.
And then Jordana Cutler gets up on stage and she's like, and we moderate Jewish people doing mutual aid for Gaza through the Samir Project. Like, we are going to disappear anyone who is trying to undercut the narrative of Zionism.
Yeah, and the context for Coleman's statement was, "Come on, guys, we should be able to get this together, right?
Right.
We should be able to censor more."
Yes. He's like, why are we dropping the ball? Why are
Guys.
kids not supporting the genocide?
Yeah. Sometimes I go on social media and I'm starting to feel like we don't control the media. And that's it's like, you're fucking
that's so funny.
anti-Semitic.
It's like a hockey interview after a loss by the front running team. Like sometimes your best immortal, all-powerful beings have to act like your best immortal, all-powerful beings, Like sometimes Thanos has to step up and just have a Thanos game,
That's right. Exactly.
Like our snaps were off, our rings were out of order.
I'm just going to play a little bit more of this just because of what she says about post-October 7th moderation. Here we
is
go.
to ensure that the voices of Israelis and the Jewish community are heard in this policymaking process.
Finally.
In the early morning hours of October
last.
7th and the days that followed,
Underrepresented.
this truly felt like the right policy.
Now, the policy she's talking about here is a policy of removing images of stuff that happened on October 7th, Israelis being kidnapped, bodies being, put in cars, shit like that. The images we've all seen, right? So she's talking about Facebook removing those because people were celebrating them.
I thought that was because the makers of the cinematically released footage. We're like, hey,
We're like,
no
that's
leaks.
IP.
That's IP.
Yeah.
I thought it was because they didn't want any footage of the Hannibal directive.
Right, exactly. That too. But then this is the policy change that was made.
We saw how this content was being shared, and we used every tool at our disposal to prevent the glorification or support of Hamas on our platform. But as the situation unfolded, a new trend emerged. People began sharing footage of the kidnappings, not to support or celebrate them, but to condemn and raise awareness. They shared images of the attacks and the hostages, pleading for their safe return. In what other situation did people need to share footage of a terrorist attack to fight back at those denying that it ever happened? This wasn't a scenario that our policy had anticipated, and Meta needed to adapt.
At first,
We listened to
this
feedback.
footage gave us the ick.
Right.
But slowly, after a few months, we started noticing little tinglings of arousal when we
Yes.
watched it. It
The
started feeling, for lack of a better word, good.
Yes. So essentially what she is saying here, and we'll go on to say, is that initially their policy was like removing these videos, for whatever reason she's claiming, people were celebrating them, which is a bunch of bullshit. I think that they were initially censored and whatnot because of the fact that it was explicit footage. And she stepped in claiming that other people told her to change her tune here. She stepped in and said, no, we need to be showing this footage. We need to be putting out videos of October 7th over and over and over again. She later in the video goes on to say that that they ban Hamas propaganda.
Right. So I'm imagining that they banned any visuals of the paragliders.
Yes. Oh, well,
am I right?
beyond just the I mean, I'm not sure if it's they got rid of those. What they did get rid of, though, is evidence of a genocide that was happening and is continued to happen since October 7th.
Sure.
That's what they have done. And they put that in the realm of, or in the category of, Hamas propaganda. So anything that supports the idea, the reality of Israel doing a genocide in Gaza, that has been summarily silenced at any moment, including people like Michael talking about it. And so
it's been Judea and summarily silenced.
Exactly.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
out of 10.
Very good. But yeah, it is like, it's crazy to go up there and talk about the specific carve-outs for, not just for Jews, because this is a whole thing. This is an entire, that's fucking bullshit explanation. Oh, this is for the Jews of the diaspora to feel safe.
She's like, Jewish supremacy extends to online, baby.
Yes. I mean, what she's saying is like, I'm creating a little Israel inside of your Facebook. I'm going to create a little apartheid in which there are special exceptions for the state of Israel specifically. And that is something that we are just supposed to go, yeah, that's normal. That's not normal. It is completely ridiculous.
She goes on to talk about how she's living the Zionist dream.
I mean, certainly.
Can we play that clip? Is that okay?
I have been at Meta for almost 9 years, longer than 95% of our current employees. Throughout these years, I have witnessed the company and the world change in ways I would have never imagined years ago. I am living out the Zionist dream. I made Aliyah almost 18 years ago, and I am privileged to wake up every day in a city that used to be home to the Maccabees and to take my children to their Jewish school.
You know what? I would pay money to never hear her Hebrew accent.
Yeah. I can't.
Okay.
The language, the language
imagine.
of the patriarchs and the matriarchs and the prophets and the Song of Songs and the Torah being spoken by this fucking Sarah Silverman lookalike.
Yeah.
She's like Sarah Bronzman.
Like straight
Sarah
up.
Runner-Upman.
Straight up, like I love that for her. She's talking about the Zionist dream, which is, of course, being a safe white Jew in America who's making Aliyah for no reason. But also, it's to the Zionist dream is to what? Be a professional mod. That's all it is. Like, what if I could be the mods and I could ban whoever I want?
And
The
I can control what the Jews of the continent I was born on can or cannot do or say online.
That's right.
From over here in Israel.
And claim to do it in the safety of all the other cooler, way better Jews.
That's right.
Dude, we are
I'm living the Zionist dream, which is to press a button and zap the minds of my home planet from the comfort of the Death Star.
Yeah.
We're nearly like 700 days into this Holocaust of the Palestinian people, and she's up on stage talking about living the Zionist dream.
Yeah.
Dude, she's like the opposite of MLK Jr.
Right, exactly.
Jordana is on stage and she is like, I have a nightmare.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That one day people will be judged by the color of their skin and not the character of their content.
I like character of their content.
Thank you so much, dude. She said that she's proud to live in the same city as the Maccabees. Do you know that if you ask Britannica where did the Maccabees live, the answer is Palestine?
Yeah.
The Maccabees. You know that ragtag underdog militia? Remember when Jews rooted for David instead of Goliath? Everybody remembers the Maccabees having the Iron Dome, right? Everybody remembers the Maccabees cutting off food, water, and power to the people they were fighting.
Famously.
Maccabees, famous for bombing hospitals and killing journalists.
That's
the
what
Maccabees.
Yeah.
They were all known for dressing up in the clothing of the people they've just slaughtered.
Yeah.
And the 2,000-pound bombs were only supposed to last for 1 week, but they lasted for 8 weeks.
Dude, I wonder if the Maccabees were carving the Star of David into people's faces.
100%. I mean,
Maccabees, that story where it's a limited amount of oil. Like,
right.
how could you lack such self-awareness that you would reference the Maccabees and be withholding oil from the Palestinian people?
Yeah.
Dude, if the Maccabees were alive today, Jordana would cover up footage of them getting murdered by a quadcopter.
Yes.
Michael's cooking. This is just a string of bangers.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the always the comparison to ancient Israel and ancient Jewish history, completely disregarding any kind of like weird tribal genocidal nature that we all have in one aspect or another in ancient history. So, this is totally fun and good. I'm glad that she got to live her Zionist dream of heading a fucking news conference called the Jewish News Syndicate. Sort of just living out a fucking anti-Semitic Nazi fever dream of a job. It's really
here's what's crazy
inspiring.
Is she is a Likud party representative, basically, right? She has been like an influential part of the party, and she's the continuation of the like ideological heir of Ergun, right? The Zionist terrorist responsible for the Nakba, and also the current party in charge under Netanyahu. They are ideological heirs to Jabotinsky and Menachem Begin, who were both virulent fascists. Jabotinsky actually studied under Mussolini. So these are the people that she represents, the people responsible for the first instance of terrorism in Palestine, the bombing of the King David Hotel, the people who are responsible for the Nakba, and the people who are still doing a Holocaust to the Palestinian people and the people of Congo and Sudan.
Yeah.
Michael, you wouldn't say that if you'd ever tried the room service at that hotel. It was atrocious.
Yeah.
The King David. I would have left a Yelp review, but
1 star got killed.
Yeah.
1 star killed by our goon.
1 star of David terrorism. Okay, thank you so much.
You know what it's called when you watch footage of Zionist militias blowing up hotels, but you don't stop watching?
I do. It's called irgooning.
Irgooning, yeah.
Yeah, I knew where you're going. Immediately. Just a little bit of an Intercept article about Jordana. Meta's Israel policy chief tried to suppress pro-Palestinian Instagram posts. This is back in October 21st, 2024, article by Sam Biddle. Of course, she has since succeeded in this, so the tried can be updated. So a former senior Israeli government official now working at Meta's Israel policy as is Meta's Israel policy chief, personally pushed for the censorship of Instagram accounts belonging to Students for Justice in Palestine, which is a group that's been organizing on campus. Internal policy discussions reviewed by The Intercept shows Jordana Cutler used the company's content escalation channels to flag for review at least 4 SJP posts, as well as other content expressing stances contrary to Israel's foreign policy. When flagging SJP posts, Cutler repeatedly invoked Meta's, quote, dangerous organizations and individuals policy.
Acronym DOI.
Doip. Doip. Which bars users from freely discussing a secret list of thousands of blacklisted entities. The dangerous organizations policy restricts, quote, glorification of those on the blacklist, but is supposed to allow for, quote, social and political discourse and, quote, commentary.
The number one rule of the blacklist is we don't talk about the blacklist.
That's right. We don't talk about it. And you don't know what those entities are. You don't know what's in it, but you can kind of guess through process of elimination. And I mean that literally, who has been eliminated from these platforms. And I'll tell you what. Process of
elimination. That's another good episode title.
Yeah.
It's also not even my first time having my Instagram account disappeared. This happened to me in 2021 when the first wave of censorship during the Unity Intifada online, where there was like a wide sweep across the platform that saw Nurdin Kiswani, very dedicated organizer in New York City for Within Our Lifetime. Both those platforms, Within Our Lifetime and Nurdin, had their accounts disappeared. And then I actually found out, this is a little tea, found out from somebody who works at Meta, not my source, but like a friend of a friend, who sent meeting notes that showed that any mention of Nurdin or Within Our Lifetime would get somebody permabanned from the app. And so this censorship is happening at a very high level, like top level executives who are making the call and then just disappearing. I didn't get a content violation. I didn't get a warning. I didn't get anything. I woke up, I saw Jordana Cutler in my Instagram stories, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm cooked. You know what I mean? And then an hour or so later, my account was gone. You can still Google my account, and like the shell of it exists, but it'll take you to a link that doesn't work.
The rubble of your account's still there, and you're buried under it. It is like, this whole like digital warfare that you see going on. It would be more funny. I think it's like, it's funny on one level, which is that like, this is the battlefield that these weak, effete, American-born Zionists choose to fight on a lot of the times, is the PR battlefield. I include myself in that, which is like, the battlefield that we're doing comedy about these fucking, Hezbollah, these people who have dedicated their lives not to lifting a finger to fight the people they claim are the Nazis bent on the destruction of every Jew in the world. No, they fight them in the digital space. And it's so funny, to watch their self-importance. The thing about it is that it is incredibly insidious, and it is them doing cover for genocide, running cover for a genocide. And at some point, you look at people like Jordana and everyone at fucking Facebook or any of these platforms who are allowing their content to be moderated by people who are literally agents of the government of Israel. Yes. And you go like, you all have blood on your hands. You're all covered in fucking blood. Not fucking digital metaverse blood, but actual blood. Like, you are manufacturing consent constantly. And you are making sure that no one else is countering that in any way. And
manufacturing consent or indifference.
Yes.
Or ignorance.
Yes. Or ignorance.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's total control over what people think and what people do, because this has a chilling effect.
Of course.
My account going down, I have friends of mine who I literally have been friends with for a decade. And we started comedy like around the same time. Like, we have been good friends. He said to me, he's scared to text me, because he's like worried about getting kicked out of the country because he's like on a visa, And so that's like real because they're using AI bots basically to determine who lives or dies. And so they're probably doing a similar thing based on like my contacts list. So yeah.
It's crazy.
Join Palestine Action, everybody. Everybody should join Palestine Action. If you can't join Palestine Action, then at least support their work, right? You don't need to swing a sledgehammer yourself, but you can buy one for somebody who would.
Yes.
They go into like weapons manufacturers and do a little bit of interior redecoration. They're
Mhm.
direly in need.
Yeah. They feng shui it a little bit.
Yeah. And so, yes, please support them. There are political prisoners from Palestine Action who are currently in jail for destroying weapons manufacturers. Sean Middleborough is one that I know personally. I interviewed him when he was outside of a different factory in Shenstone. And also, yeah, it's the Filton 18. So Google the Filton 18. Also, check out the Samir Project. The Samir Project is doing mutual aid distribution of food and water in Gaza, where people are literally starving to death. And so, you know, this is what I was talking about. This is what I like, you know, what matters to me the most. And that's what like Jordana couldn't handle. She also couldn't handle that my clip was going viral and people were reacting to it. People loved it, you know. And so they just hate to see a Jewish person who supports the Palestinian resistance shine.
Right.
All of our listeners, please do us a solid. If you see Jordana Cutler pop up in the live chat of any of our video premieres or, you know, or the comment section, just let us know. Just
let us know, and we'll try our best to you know, shape up. You know, shape up or ship
That's
out.
right.
You know, and that's what they say. No, but it is like it is truly concerning. It is something that I have been, you know, kind of waiting for this the eventual deplatforming of any voices who are going to be speaking out against this genocide, and it's something that you know. There was one thing that I could say that was a positive, you know, during the beginnings of this. There seemed to be so many people going online and sharing images and sharing, you know, what was happening on the ground in Gaza, that all of these social media companies and these fucking, you know, Israeli mods who are going in and trying to ban, they couldn't do everyone at once. They couldn't, like, it was like they were overloaded. There was, you know, there was too many people. And now, you know, it's slowly they're figuring out ways to mass ban everything, and it does have a chilling effect.
The tides are turning, right? They can only do so much, and just last year they had to allot an extra $150 million for Hasbara because they've been failing so badly.
Of course,
so that's actually like a tangible indication of our success, right? We are taking back intellectual ground from the Zionists, and we will never cede that ground. We are marching straight ahead, straight to Al-Quds. You know what I'm saying?
So the price of Hasbara per barrel has gone up.
That's right.
I mean, I don't think I feel like the money didn't even get distributed to like the actual teenagers who are going online and being like, Palestine doesn't exist. You know, like I don't even feel like they're getting the money. I feel like it's probably just like some intermediary who is like got a consulting contract. But, you know, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, you see online, there's more and more people are finally speaking out about it. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how much, you know, the censorship, because it really is going to have to increase to a level that is going to be very noticeable. It's not just going to be, you know, smaller accounts like ours, you know, that are worried. It's like,
don't do that. You guys are big. Everybody loves you guys.
Well,
come on. We watch you here at the Palestine Pod. You know what I mean? Come on.
We don't. Thank you. I appreciate that, but we don't. You know, we don't want to be too. Listen, this is why we remain unsuccessful. We want to be unsuccessful, so no one notices that we're here.
You're right. I got too successful. It's my fault.
That's right. I was going to blame you. I'm blaming you for being too successful. Speaking of success,
what were you wearing of your career?
That's right. Speaking of success, we have successfully segued now into an ad break. So everyone, stick around. We'll be right back. And we're back. This Badass Bar, world's most moral podcast, here with Mikey Intifada, aka Michael Schirtzer. What's up, dog?
Hey, thanks for having me. Thank you so much. You guys are extending me a platform after mine got deplatformed.
You got deplatformed, and it happens. And we've been
It
talking.
shirts so good.
Yeah, shirts so good because Schirtzer. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
I get things. So we've been talking about obviously these major tech platforms doing all sorts of shenanigans, kicking people off. And one of the things they've been doing also is offering a little bit of free AI for people. And this is not necessarily Hezbollah related, but I was in our YouTube channels like YouTube Studio, right? Where you post stuff and you can read all of the comments all in one place from like multiple different episodes. Daniel and I did an episode recently with the Holocaust survivor Stephen Kaposh. And people were commenting all sorts of things, very, very nice things. And someone made a comment about the fact that Daniel looked different. And it was the fact that he shaved his beard. What I didn't know is that YouTube, as a service, offers free AI suggestions for replies to comments that I'm going to read for you right now. So first, the comment, someone writes, 40 minutes into this, Mercurial Jester wrote, 40 minutes into this amazing interview, it finally hit me why I felt like something was wrong. Daniel's signature scruff is gone. I got so used to it that when he shaved it off, I had a visceral gut reaction that something wasn't right. And they suggested, as a reply, I think he shaved it to get a better glimpse of the Holocaust.
You know, I had ordered, just to save some money, a partial view ticket.
Just want to see a little bit.
But I noticed that some of the seats were available for shaven people, so yeah. I just moved down to a lower section.
I just wanted to go ahead.
AI really encouraging the paid version.
I know, dude. This is like, I'm sorry, but who red pilled Grok? Why is he out here making Holocaust jokes in our comment section?
And what the fuck does shaving my beard have to do with getting a better glimpse of it, whatever the fuck that means?
I don't know what it means.
If it was, close. Daniel's wearing prescription glasses.
Yes, it's probably so he can get a better glimpse of the Holocaust.
I think we can all agree that your facial hair was getting in the way.
Oh, yes. Get in the way of your empathy for those.
The view of the Holocaust.
I am just amazed that Google's already, they're like, you know what? This AI is ready, dog. Let's put it in. Let's put it in this episode about a Holocaust survivor. Let's make a little Holocausty joke that all the bots understand. Anyways,
it's Elon's thing, right? Like
Grok. Yeah.
Grok is like a product of Elon Musk, and Elon Musk literally did the Hail Hitler on
That's
stage.
right.
So
that's a
it's
very
not
good point.
Too far of a stretch, right?
It's not too far. It just, it is.
And also, given that like NASA was founded by Nazis, like Werner von Braun through Operation Paperclip, and like the coordination of the United States government and Nazis and Zionists and Nazis. Now the space program still controlled by Nazis, so it's like a whole through line.
Yeah, I love it that they've maintained control of their spaces, including
also
space.
Speaking of Nazis, you guys know that there are Nazis in Ukraine and Nazis in Russia killing each other.
That's crazy.
Which, as a Jew, is hilarious.
Yeah,
okay?
I knew about the Azov Nazis in Ukraine. I didn't know about the Russian Nazis.
Oh yeah, they've got
double
the
Nazis,
Wagner,
dude.
And so it's like,
that's right.
Yeah, it's kind of like a win-win.
About the Wagner group. Yeah. Well, it's fun. Let them have fun over there.
Just good old-fashioned fun, those two.
Yeah. Before we continue,
we never talk about Nazi on Nazi crime.
I know, exactly.
Not enough, I feel.
We need to talk about Nazi crime stats.
Is that the whitest of the white on crime? Whitest of the white?
Yeah,
what am I trying to say?
White on white
crime.
Yeah, it's double white on white.
That's the creme de la creme of crime.
That's
each battling for ultimate white supremacy.
I love Sublime the most. I don't know why Sublime's my go-to white thing, but I do think it's very white. I love Sublime. Don't get me wrong. And just real quick, we got a couple of messages from supporters of our podcast who wanted to just give some shout outs. One is from BB, who has said this.
Free Palestine.
Okay.
Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. And then our homegirl, Lizzie Savetsky, wanted to just give us a shout out and sent us a little message.
Allah Akbar!
So thank you so much, Lizzie.
Thanks, Lizzo.
God is great.
Mashallah.
Mashallah, right?
Allah Akbar!
Thank you.
Takbir.
Yes. I need to get a video of her being la ilaha illallah. That would be so sick. Anyways, today, we're going to end this with a little bit of Piers Morgan. Listen, I am no fan of Britain's worst export since, I don't know, fucking, let's say, vinegar on fries. I know a lot of people like that. It's not for me. I don't like it. Or whatever, bread pie, whatever they like. Frankly, I wish he disappears, Morgan. I think I pretty much get it at him. And
Having been found guilty by a jury of his peers, Morgan.
There we go.
Do you remember when he was found guilty for the phone hacking scandal that he was involved in?
Oh, that's right.
In the Daily Mirror, he's literally an intelligence asset. Anyway.
Yeah, dude. He's like OG. This was at a time when he was also, credit where credit is due. It was like he had discovered his beat was like being against the Iraq War, which credit where credit is due. And then he wasn't getting the rush anymore, and so he started doing phone hacking.
And his plot arc recently seems to be like some kind of very early model droid trying to become sentient.
Right. Yes.
Like he's struggling to achieve sentience and original thought and like escape his programming, and it's very hard because the programming keeps pulling him back. But we have a clip of what I think is potentially, at least cosmetically, if not more profoundly, a breakthrough in that effort to achieve sentience and moral awareness.
Yeah, here
you seem to have a very clear idea.
So he's talking to Tsipi Hotolevi.
He's talking to a blueberry girl from Willy Wonka.
Motherfucker named Sippy. She took a sippy of that blueberry juice and now she big as balloon. Let's be real.
Of how many?
It's okay to body shame war criminals.
Yeah, yes. By the way, that is actually, there's a carve out on Meta for people who do war crimes.
Terrorists you've killed. You've said the number, but you have absolutely no idea how many children have died in the process. I simply ask you why. Why do
Piers,
the lives of the Hamas terrorists
Piers,
get recorded,
listen to me.
but you don't record the number of children you
I'm
killed?
willing here to give you the strategy about the war because this was the question you were asking.
Why don't you answer my question?
I'm giving you only the answers that I have.
Just
my
tell me why
answer
you
is,
know one number and not the other.
But the number makes a difference just if you're targeting civilians. If Israel is not targeting civilians, according to the international law...
It doesn't make any difference to the number of children who've died.
It does
you can couch it any way you like.
difference according to the international humanitarian
law. But how do you know about
law?
the number of terrorists killed, but you don't know how many children have been
and
killed?
I'm saying
how
again,
do you know one, not the other? Explain to me. Treat me like a village idiot. Why is it that you know one number, but you
Gladly,
don't know...
Piers.
We all have been.
I love treating you like the village idiot. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
According to the international humanitarian law, it makes a lot of difference if you're targeting civilians, if you're targeting legitimate war aims.
I'm not talking about who you're targeting.
Michael, what do you think? What do you think Lara would say about that?
Lara would say that international law is being violated gravely every single day. And if we have any hope, we would hold the occupation to full account in the court of law where they're already wanted for war crimes. And also all of the cases that the Hind Rajab Foundation is launching against the actual soldiers who carried out the genocide day by day. That's what she'd probably say. And she'd also probably say Piers Morgan looks like he's recording on a potato.
Yeah. So it looks like he's turning into one.
You're deliberately targeting the children who've
Very
been killed.
good. So that's the only thing that we are discussing here.
No, it's not. Because you know how many terrorists you've killed, you say, but you
because
have no idea
those are the people we targeted.
So how many children have died in the process? Why don't you know that number too?
Piers, please ask this question to the people that can give you the answer. I don't have the answer.
Who has the answer?
Please don't ask me
Who
questions.
has the answer? Who has the answer?
I don't have the answer. And I will tell you something.
I love to go on a talk show. I love to go on a talk show and be like, please don't ask me questions.
Yeah, go on as the
I know
representative.
you brought me on here as the representative of the Israeli government to ask me questions, but please don't do that. Can't we just talk about bocce?
Yeah, I could talk about, like how many terrorists we've killed. I know the exact number of that. But when it comes to children, what I say is talk to the hand, because the face is confused and doesn't know that number. And we'll get back to you on that later.
And we're missing the part in this clip. I think it's earlier when she calls the question irrelevant.
Oh, yeah.
Because
What is
Hamas
relevant?
because Hamas uses human shields, and therefore no bomb that we drop that kills a child actually is the reason that child died.
And isn't it crazy that there's so much footage of them using Palestinians as human shields
Constantly.
and literally no footage of the opposite?
Not only footage, but extensive testimony of battalion policy.
Yeah.
As minesweepers, as tunnel rats, as as people to send into a demolished home.
Talk about dehumanization, right? Tunnel rat.
Yeah. I mean, they've literally. What did they? This is.
Hold up. Speaking of tunnels, actually, you guys remember when the tunnels popped up in Crown Heights?
I do remember that.
Dog.
I think we can. Event.
I think we can all agree Palestinians way better at building tunnels.
I mean, clearly, if you're gonna build
the marksmanship, is unparalleled.
It's crazy that it popped up right into someone already holding a camera, because I hear something going on, and they're like, we didn't build these as well. This entire Piers, arc has always been annoying because of the fact that he has clearly been doing things that I think are good, like allowing people to finish sentences who are pro-Palestine, which sounds like a low bar, but it's actually fucking huge for anyone who has a big platform, especially in quote news.
Dude, he perpetuated the lie about 40 beheaded babies.
Of course.
He's just as culpable.
And
I think he realizes that the tide is turning and he could potentially be tried for war crimes like in the Nuremberg trials. And so he's like, actually, I've been on the right side the whole time.
Well, there's a lot of people like that, right? There's a lot of people like that. There was a huge list of British literary people. I don't know if they were all British, but Zadie Smith was one of them. She's the one who wrote this fucking, piece in the New Yorker exactly a year ago, talking about how it's dangerous and irresponsible to talk about a genocide in Gaza. There's a lot of people who are having I don't know, come to Francesca moments.
Not my wife Albanese, but
Albanese,
both equally cool.
Correct.
But it could also be a come to Jesus moment because Jesus was Palestinian.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Enough.
Either way, it was the road to Damascus.
Did you see Brianna Wu's whole thing about Aramaic?
Oh, fucking dude, I can't handle.
We're not covering her anymore for a while, but it was pretty funny.
It was great because it was just her refusing to listen to linguists about what Aramaic is.
Amazing.
She is. I love her kind of like baby brain when it comes to Zionism, because she's about to take Hebrew classes. She's like, fuck it, I'm doing it. I'm learning Hebrew, and I'm doing it.
She's
out
not
of
already
spite.
in them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the fact that she's like, I want to take Hebrew classes is kind of like, it's like when you're at a job and they're like, do you want to do management training because you're doing pretty good at this?
Well,
this is Israeli management training.
I hope she enjoys finding out that there's no W in the Hebrew alphabet.
Yeah. Dude, can Brianna Wu exist? If there's
she's going to
no
be
W?
Vu. She's going to be Vu from now on.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean when I'm saying like the tide is turning. Like even Piers Morgan, a talking head of imperialism, is now trying to press Israeli officials so that he can clip himself being, on the right side now. But like we don't forget. And we don't forgive, honestly. Like
Certainly
I will
not.
forever remember people who were silent, people who were lying openly about the genocide. It's going to follow them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And also, I think that's like why they disappeared me as well. Is like my very existence is such a challenge to the Zionist narrative that they were like, we're not satisfied with shadow banning. We're not satisfied with purging your followers. It's not enough that we are going to take down 1 or 2 posts. No, you are disappeared completely, eradicated. And like, that's something that I now share with Palestinians. They're trying to eradicate them completely.
Right. Yeah.
I'm never going to forget who Piers really is, or, you know, like he's never not going to be the village idiot to me. And he never will, you know, escape the stain of all of the apologetics he did, and the kind of willful stupidity. And at the same time, I want to see more of that kind of interview. I mean, it's good shit, to press one of these fuckers like that. And even if the question itself is accepting some premises that are themselves, you know, faulty or racist or ahistorical or whatever, the outcome of seeing an Israeli official stammer and say outright, asking me about the number of children we've killed is irrelevant. Boom, I'll take it. I don't care from who.
I hear you. I've been watching in this media tour of current Israeli officials struggling to complete a sentence, and they end up just screaming at whoever is interviewing them.
Yeah, it happened in Norway recently.
Yeah. It's actually yum. And my partner and I were watching it, and she was like, I don't want to see this. This makes me anxious. And I was like, this is actually therapeutic for me. Because it's the first time anybody has ever held them to account, even in the smallest way. Right? Even if it's just intellectually on a talk show, this is a huge deal because I've been doing this so long that I remember when we wouldn't even be on the talk shows.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's, you know, like always been insane to me with the amount of media training that these people have that they can't answer. They don't have like a stock answer for a question that any not even real journalist, even a fake journalist on TV would ask. And instead, what they're counting on is that no one would dare ask it. And that's, I think, says everything about these motherfuckers.
And their talking points are no longer working, right?
Well, right. They know that.
You got to ask him out. Like, that literally does not work anymore.
Right.
And so they're out of moves intellectually.
Yeah. And it's crazy.
It's checkmate.
They've had all this time. They've had all this time to invent more Hasbara, but instead they're like, nah, we're just gonna keep being indignant. We're just gonna keep being fake offended that you would dare ask us to care about the lives of people that we consider to be subhuman. So, you know, if they're not Nazis, I don't know what a fucking Nazi is.
Dude, they're like, how dare you accuse me of being a cannibal? I will eat you right now.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
I'll show you fucking cannibals. Yum, yum. Mikey, it was wonderful having you. Thank you for coming on. Everyone, follow him on his new Instagram handle and on all social media. And listen to the Palestine Pod. Great fucking podcast. We love it.
Thank you guys so much. We're fans of you as well. Thank you for the support in this moment.
Of course. Of course.
Mutual Admiration Society for sure.
That's right. Patreon.com/badhasbara, badhasbara@gmail.com for all your questions, comments, and concerns. All right, everyone. Thanks again so much for listening. And until next time, from the river to the sea.
God damn it, I hate when Piers Morgan and us agree.
Jumping jacks was us. Push-ups was us. Krav Maga us. All karate us. Taking